All right. All right. Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Aquas, and this is the Shooting Game Weekly episode number 52. We're bringing Touhou back finally, and this Touhou game is going to be 12.8, otherwise known as Great Fairy Wars. It's going to be awesome, and this week got a couple real excellent guests to talk about this game, and that's going to be Chumlum.
Hello,
Hey,
hello.
Chum, and also joined by Zill.
Hey,
How you doing, Zill?
pretty good.
Good, good. So just a little brief info about this game. Came out in 2010, of course, Touhou game by Zune. Um, not a lot to say. Guess I don't know. I guess I don't know a great synopsis of the type of game, but I guess yeah, it's referred to as Danmaku freezing type of game. There's a freezing mechanic which is very prominent in this game. But we're gonna so yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I have for the intro there. So uh, yeah, we're just gonna be getting straight into the pretty much basics of this game from the ground up, and pretty much the goal is let's get you guys informed about how the game works, what's going on, and eventually into scoring. And so we actually will be watching Chumlum's Lunatic replay in this game, and then afterwards we'll be watching an extra mode world record replay by Mizoru, was it?
Yep.
Okay.
Mizoru.
And so that's what we'll be doing. And so right now we just got Chum's replay going, and we'll be using this to demonstrate some of the very basics of the game. So yeah, Chum, do you want to just go ahead and take it off and intro this game? And if you have
Yeah.
any other details about like kind of what the game feel is like that I didn't kind of get in a brief synopsis, feel free to
All right. No,
introduce it your own way as well.
I think you got it right. It's Danmaku freezing. You have to freeze as much as you can. That's basically it. Um, like, I guess first of all, yes, there's a freezing mechanic, and so the way it works is that you hold C and you start charging, and eventually you can release a freeze depending on how big your ice power is. If you look at the run, you can see on the right side that it says ice power.
Okay.
That's the freeze meter. So it can go up to 100, which means you release a big freeze. But you can also use a freeze when it's pretty low. Like you can start freezing when it's on 30%, which
Okay.
releases a very very brief freeze that just ends immediately. So you don't really want to do that. The way you increase your ice power is by shooting something or by grazing. So you have to do that a lot, graze bullets and make sure you're shooting something because well you want to freeze all the time. And the other things that you can see there are motivation. That's your life count. You don't actually have like 400 lives or whatever. It's 4 lives, and the extra numbers just indicate. I guess you could say those indicate health or something. But yeah, every 100 motivation is 1 life.
Oh,
And
okay. I see. I see.
likewise, with perfect freeze, every 100 is a bomb.
Okay.
That's what the bomb is the perfect freeze. And
Okay. Neato.
yeah, the way you get motivation is by shooting stuff or freezing stuff. And the way you get perfect freeze is by freezing bullets, but you don't actually have to freeze like a specific target, just freezing a certain number of bullets and you will increase your perfect freeze.
Okay, about charging the ice power, do you always need to hold C to charge it up then?
Yeah, you need to hold it to charge it, and you can tap the button to shoot, or use a different button, like an auto fire button.
So holding C isn't your focus in this case, is it?
Well,
Moving slower?
it does make you move slower.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
like a focus. It's like just like focusing, but you can shoot and focus at the same time. But if you're charging, you're always focusing, which makes you move slower. And the moment you release it, you'll stop focusing.
so can the shot be used as a focus, I guess, is my next question.
You can shoot this. You can focus and shot at the
Okay.
same time without actually charging your freeze. If that's what. You
Oh,
mean.
okay, yeah. So then in that case, you just hold A, I guess. Okay.
Like there are 4 separate buttons. focus, freeze charging, auto fire, and bomb.
Okay, so we kind of got some of the basic stuff on the screen covered, lives and the bombs with the motivation.
You can also see at the bottom there's the ice area. That's kind of useless, but it does let you know how much bullets you've frozen so far. And the level isn't really that important, I would say, but it does indicate what your shot power is. And you do level it up by freezing, obviously.
It's, yeah, I mean, I'd say it's kind of relevant in that your shot gets wider, which can help hit more targets, which makes recharging the ice power a bit easier.
But like the max level is bad for scoring, in my opinion. But you have to get it, so.
Hit your shot level. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And you can also see that since it's a Lunatic replay, you can see all the enemies release suicide bullets. They don't do it on the easy or normal or extra. On hard and Lunatic, they release suicide bullets. And in fact, because the suicide bullets are aimed directly at your hitbox, they are actually more good than bad because you can use them to graze and increase your ice power very easily.
Plays right into the scoring system.
Yes,
right.
It makes a Lunatic. It's one of the things that makes Lunatic easier than easy or normal.
Okay, would you want to go into the kind of percentages, I guess? Would that be the next thing?
Percentages?
Like the freeze percentages that we see, I
Oh,
guess.
yes, right. More
there.
bullets frozen, more bullets frozen on the screen means more score, and it means more perfect freeze.
Okay, yeah.
If you freeze 30% of the screen or more, you get 20% perfect freeze, which is, whenever you can do that, you want that to happen. Because you want to get as many bombs as possible over the course of the game.
I see.
If you freeze less than that, you get a lot less perfect freeze per freeze. And 30% frozen screen means you get 100,000 score, whereas freezing 100% of the screen would mean 1,000. No, I mean 1,000,000. But well, that can't really happen. You can't freeze the screen ever.
So we see you're just always trying to optimize your freezes the best you can. All right, so do you want to talk about the stage routes in this game? I suppose that would be the next thing.
There's 3 different initial path, initial stages, and then for each initial stage, there is 2 routes. So there's, I guess you could say 6 different routes you can take, and an extra stage on top of that.
Okay.
And each route does have its own category, so you could play whichever. But this is the A2 route, which is the highest scoring one. So that's what I've been maining, basically.
Okay, yeah, and then there's only 3 stages. Then you said,
there's only 3 stages for each category. Generally, there's a lot of overlap in what goes on in the stages because they actually reuse the stages. There's only 3 different stages, but they often have subtle differences in them that makes them a bit different. And on top of that, every stage does have different boss spell cards, which is a form of boss pattern.
Right. Yeah, right.
So it does make all the routes a bit unique, although there are some things that are going to be the same.
Okay. And then what about the different characters or like shot types? What's the deal with that in this game?
One playable character in this game.
Okay.
And it is Cyrano the Ice Fairy.
As we see.
Yeah. She is the strongest.
All right.
Well, and yes, all the enemies are also fairies. That's why it's called, Fairy Wars. All the enemies are fairies, all the bosses are fairies. It's a game of fairies. If you like fairies, this is a good game.
Okay, I guess suppose maybe next thing we could get into is like game flow. How does the game flow? Like, how does the action usually go? What's kind of your goal in freezing stuff? And I suppose now you could actually try to get into the very beginning, like scoring techniques, if you think we're ready for that.
Yes. So the first thing you have to learn to do in this game, if you want to score, is to hit all the bosses on the side. The reason for this is you do a lot less damage if you hit them on the side, but you do increase your ice power just as quickly as if you were hitting them in the middle, meaning you can milk more if you do this, because otherwise you would damage them too much to milk all the way through, because the ice does damage. So this is really important. And the other
Gotcha.
thing that you can see me doing on Sunny Milk a bit is point blank grazing. I guess you just saw that because grazing increases the ice power. If you can ever graze just as many bullets as you need to get max ice power immediately, then you should do that. So point blank grazing is pretty important. Grazing a bullet source just as it appears.
And then you said when you bomb, it freezes all the bullets. So is there like any like bomb tricks where you can like jump into the fray of like this really tightly knit stack of bullets to get easy graze? Or
yeah, the way the bomb works is that it freezes everything on the screen, including unfreezable bullets. Like right now, you can see me dealing with some of these fireball type bullets, which you cannot freeze unless you bomb. The bomb does freeze these bullets, which is pretty important because, well, it means you can get some really big bomb freezes some parts of the game. And yeah, the way the bomb works is that when you press bomb, you do turn invulnerable, and like 2 seconds later, everything is frozen.
Oh, so you do get grazed during that invulnerable period?
Yeah, you can graze during the invulnerable period, but if you touch a bullet, it deletes. So it's kind of it's not like that, but it's kind of important that you try to not touch the bullets. You try to graze them, but not touch them. Even though you are invulnerable, you should try not to touch the bullets.
Right. Okay. I don't know. Next thing, I don't know.
well, one thing I guess you can mention about the freezes is that when you're not invulnerable when you freeze, when you use like a normal freeze.
Okay.
But the bullets that you freeze become harmless.
Okay.
You can still hit stuff.
Mm-hmm. I'd mention about the suiciding, how it prevents enemies from taking damage from the ice.
Yeah, like, okay, so first of all, when you die in this game, you do get 25% perfect freeze. This is not a lot. I mean, you would have to die 4 times to get 1 bomb. So that's not that big. So that might make it seem like suiciding is like a very high level thing that you would only do when you really need those extra bombs. But, however, you can also take into account that dying spawns you with, first of all, with 100% ice power. So that if you need to do a lot of consecutive freezes, like big freezes, dying is a good course of action because you enter the screen with 100. Yeah, you recharge it and you can do another big freeze without shooting or grazing or doing anything. And also, when you die right after a freeze, the freeze goes off while you die and it does a lot less damage, meaning that you can freeze a boss over and over without the boss dying.
And that's kind of an advanced milking technique.
Yeah, it's like a really important thing in some parts of the game where you can do kind of like this suicide chaining, freezing kind of thing.
It's extremely important on the mid-boss coming up in this stage here, I think.
Yeah, like both the stage 2 and 3 mid-bosses in this replay, you have to do this. And other than that, you kind of almost never want to die.
Okay. So that's kind of a rare thing. So we'll probably point that out when it happens. Once we're going to restart the replay once we're kind of done with this
you have to be careful with how you burn the lives because you do have to finish the game with max lives, 1,000% motivation, or you lose a big clear bonus. So,
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another. So the next thing we could probably talk about is clear
So
bonuses.
like the suiciding thing, you probably don't want to do that right away. It's but eventually you're gonna have to do it.
I see. I had a question I forgot now though. Is there any point at which like freezing is worth more than like the amount that you freeze? I guess is a question I have. Like, is there any, I don't know.
Yeah, that's always consistent. Like the amount of bullets you freeze on the screen is always going to be worth the same.
Oh, okay. Got it.
There's one thing I didn't mention yet. It's the point items.
Sure.
It's easy to forget about them because they're not that, like in most Touhou games, point items are really important. In this one, they're not that big, but...
yeah, I've seen a few items here and there.
Yeah, there's 2 different types of point items. The first point item is worth almost nothing. It's only 1,000, and it's only if you collect them at the top of the screen. And you get those just by straight up killing enemies with your shots. But you can get frozen items by killing enemies with your freeze. And frozen items are worth a lot more, 4,000 per item.
Okay.
And these items are auto-collected. So it's really important that you learn to kill enemies with your ice, like not just damage them with your ice, but actually finish them off with your ice.
I see. And that score, the resulting score does add up. Okay.
Yeah, it does add up to a lot, especially on the lower difficulties, because the point items are worth the same on all difficulties, and on the lower difficulties, it's as well as to freeze. But
Oh, okay.
they're still pretty important on Lunatic, I think.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So I think we have a decent idea of kind of what's going on in the game. Yeah. So obviously you have the freeze bullets, and then there are bullets that you can't freeze.
Yeah, they're pretty easy to spot. They look like fireballs.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Fire, ice, good shit.
You the lasers yet?
Say
Yeah.
that again.
There's lasers. I think the mid boss.
Oh yeah, yeah. The mid boss there uses lasers. The lasers pierce your eyes and send random bullets all over.
They go through. They go through the
They
ice.
go through the ice and release
Right,
random
yeah.
bullets. Yes, it's quite dangerous, but well, sometimes you will have to deal with them.
So when it goes through the ice, does it like break the ice and the ice?
This can actually be really troublesome in some routes because you have to be very careful with them breaking the ice because it breaks your score as well.
Okay.
You don't really have to worry that much about that on this category though.
Okay. All right, I'm just taking a quick skim through the chat here, see if there's any questions or comments about what we've talked about so far.
There is one more thing I've somehow forgot to mention. Almost all Touhou games have a spell card system where the boss will announce that they're using a spell card, which is a special type of boss attack, I guess, which you get a bonus for defeating. This game has that as well, but it goes even further and has a medaling system. So you have bronze, silver, and gold medals for the spell cards. Generally, you want to go for the silver medal. That means you capture the card, that is that you defeat the card within the time period without dying or bombing. That's what you generally want to go for. But there is also a gold medal, which means you do the same thing except you don't use any ice. This is not significant at all for scoring because, well, it's kind of like a troll thing, and an additional challenge, I guess you could call it, because it's never actually good for scoring, almost.
So yeah, and I know you mentioned what the spell cards are. Is there any other kind of general things about Touhou like someone who has never seen Touhou before should know before we advance, I guess, on, because I did notice there was a question that was kind of asking just what no miss meant. So.
Oh no, I can't think of anything right now. I mean, grazing. You graze a bullet, it increases your ice power.
Yeah.
Um,
And the spell cards all have the name. They have the names so that you know.
they do have names, but there's so many of them in this game. I don't actually know the names for most of them.
Well, it's just so you know that it's like they're doing a thing. So.
Yeah. You can freeze the suicide bullets. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Okay. Yeah. And then what about the bronze and the gold medals? So you say I want to get silver, but
yeah, the
bronze
gold
goals.
medal is the same as silver, except you don't use any ice, and you get a small bonus for getting a gold medal, but it's never worth it.
Oh, okay.
Because well, you do have to use ice to get frozen items, and you do have to use ice to get score from using the ice in itself. You never want to go for gold. The bronze is basically you failed the card, you died or bombed during the card, so the bronze doesn't actually give you a bonus. It's just nothing. But sometimes it is good to bomb or die during spell cards because the bonus isn't that big compared to what you'd get from bombing it. There are many situations like that.
Okay, we were talking about that a little bit earlier about the intentional dying.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll point that out once we restart this replay as well, and kind of what you've been doing here. If anyone in the chat has any other basic questions, please, or any other questions, please put them in there, and I'll try to ask these guys as we go through. But anything else before we actually restart your replay and check out what the scoring is like?
No, I think we've got it covered now.
Okay, excellent. I think we got a good idea now. I'm trying to think if there's anything I see that I don't know what the hell is going on.
I see there.
It's iciness. Someone said there's gonna be puns, and yeah, I guess we got them now. The big circle around the boss here, is that the time the how much health they have?
Yes, that is
Okay.
the health bar. It's because sometimes there's multiple bosses at the same time. So I guess that's why Sun incorporated that. So it's easier to see the individual health bars. Because normally you would have a health bar at the top of the screen.
Okay. Trap says we don't really need to restart the replay, but it's almost over.
Well,
No, I would like to
there's
because
a
I
lot
know
to
I
talk
know you
about.
have stuff to talk about
Yes,
that
in
we
replay
really
itself,
didn't
there's
get
a lot to
into.
say. So
But now we're primed, we're ready to go, and we're gonna restart the replay. Screw Trap, he's not part of this episode.
yeah, screw you.
He's not not affiliated. Anyway, shout out to Trap. All right, so let's go back to the beginning and we'll do a countdown and we'll watch your lunatic score. I guess now would be a good time to preface kind of the story behind your play or kind of what level you're at and what you're doing in the replay and how close it is to like world record, that type of stuff. If you have some info about that.
Yeah, I'm second for this category in the world. The world record is 2.5 million points higher.
And then you're scoring. What's the total score?
112 million roughly.
That's your score or the world
Yeah,
record?
that's my score. The world record is 115. Mine is like 112.4.
Okay.
There's a lot of luck involved in this game, and this replay I got very lucky, so that part is good. But there's two major mistakes that basically cost world record level play on this replay. Other than that, it's very solid.
Okay. Awesome. Well.
Yeah, like I've been playing this game for years, and when I started playing this category seriously, I was playing it for about a month or two, all day long, until
Awesome.
I reached this level. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, this is gonna be a nice treat for us. A nice solid replay, and the
Jemmers
guy who
asks
did it.
about
So.
the plot.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
the story is something like you're Cyrano the Ice Fairy and your house was broken. And so you declare war on these three mischievous fairies because of that, and that's it.
Just a
They
simple.
They broke your
You go beat
house
them up.
because the fairies thought that if they grouped up as a whole army, they would be strong enough to cause an incident. And by doing this, they
Yeah.
tried to threaten all the other fairies. One of them was destroying Cyrano's house. And then
Yeah.
she
I think-
forgot
I mean,
about
I-
it for half a year. And then she declared
I-
war
I-
when she remembered it.
I think the dialogue for this game is pretty good, but it's very simple shmup story. You just go beat them up.
Right. Okay, let's get into the replay. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we know what's going on now, and now we can see what else is going on. All right. All right, do the countdown. All right, 3,
All right.
2,
Whoa, whoa.
1. Oh, whoa.
doing?
Oh.
No
What are we
countdown?
doing? Which video?
Oh, the same one. Chums.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Yeah. So right off the bat, you just want to freeze all the bullets.
You heard
suicide-
them a
and
little
grace the
bit.
suicide bullets. That's what you do most of the time. Yeah.
That's what you do. It's a freezing game.
Yeah. You freeze bullets and you raise suicide bullets, and you have to figure out how to optimally get as many big freezes as you can. And this is definitely the biggest difficulty in the game is getting big freezes.
So
it's-
yeah, you obviously probably watched a bunch of replays to kind of
Yeah,
get an idea
yeah, I mean,
for
yeah,
when the
it's-
best times were to freeze.
Yeah, I spent hours on end writing down notes for exactly how to play the game and backup strats for everything and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of RNG in this game, so you have to be aware of how to adapt to circumstances.
Okay, I'd be curious to see when those when the RNG comes
Yeah,
in.
the RNG is usually mainly on the bosses.
Okay.
And because there's so many categories in the game that it's always going to be different depending on what's difficulty and what route you're playing. So yeah, on this mid boss, the milking starts. Every boss in this game has to be milked. There's almost never any reason to not milk them.
And so looks like in between each freeze, you're getting that ice power back up just
Yeah,
enough
I'm
to get
shooting
another
the
freeze.
side. Shooting the
Yeah.
side there to make sure I don't over damage her. Here I'm not shooting at all because you can grace instead.
Oh right, okay, gotcha. You choose between grazing or shooting for getting the ice.
Yeah, sometimes you have to do
Possible.
both, because as you can see right here, my ice power isn't getting very high. But sometimes you have to get really high ice power, which means you might have to do both freezing and grazing.
I got a quick question. So, how much is the ice freezes limited by a very like short percentage ice power, like a 10 or 20% compared to like a 50%?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
If the ice power is really low, does it become like a less powerful freeze? Like, does the freeze expand less?
Yeah. The way it works is that the duration is lower, so it gets less of a chance to expand. The higher the percentage, the more the duration is.
So if you have only a 10 or 20% charge, it will actually just die out.
Yeah, well, 30% is the lowest you can actually freeze with, and
Okay.
it just dies out.
It just
like
dies out. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
but it freezes bullets, but it just it doesn't expand at all.
Gotcha. Okay, sure.
Now, does it actually inflict more damage?
I think it does inflict just a bit more damage, yes, but it's not very significant.
Okay.
You'd actually want to avoid that, I think, if possible.
Well, if possible, yeah. So, well, here's the boss, first
Okay.
boss. Yeah, you shoot the side of her, try to graze some bullets, and try to position yourself well so that you can freeze 2 waves at a time.
Cool.
It's pretty important that you try to freeze 30% or more of the screen, since this does give you 20% perfect freeze.
Okay, that's important.
This is one of the parts of the game where this is not always like easy to do at all, because if you look at Luna Child is the boss name. If you look at her health bar, I've almost killed her, so I can't shoot her anymore, and I can't freeze her anymore. So
It's over.
makes it harder to get bigger freezes. And here's some bombing and stuff. When you use the bomb, it goes off 2 seconds later, so you just have to learn the timing.
Oh, cool. Yeah, preemptive usage there. That was nice.
Yeah. And while you're using it, you can go on top of Luna Child to graze those big stars she's about to shoot, to make sure you're ready for the next wave.
80% freeze for.
Okay, this
Thing in this game.
this second non-spell is very difficult random attack that because I'm at the level I'm playing, I have to try to milk it, which is something I usually can't do without dying, which means I have to reset here a lot.
Sorry, did you say what phase? What part?
This attack right now.
This attack right here.
Yes, it's the movement is random, the bullets are random, it's very fast, it's very difficult, and it's very easy to kill it off prematurely. Just everything about it is hard.
Yeah,
Frankly,
movement is an annoying thing.
Yeah,
RNG
it's
in many
mainly
games.
the RNG with the bullets that is a problem, but
Okay.
yeah, but I got through it okay this replay.
And then you have 5% motivation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep in mind that the perfect freeze can't go over 300, so you really have to plan ahead where your bombs are going to be. You never want to sit at 300 perfect freeze for too long.
Oh, okay, sure.
You're just wasting bombs by doing that.
Manage your resources correctly.
Yeah. Right. All right. So yeah, stage 1 was not great in this run, but I really made up for it by getting lucky on stage 2, I guess. So yeah, there's some big fairies popping up in the corner, and you want to wait for them to flood the screen before you bomb.
No, the 2% freeze. That was a shitty. You didn't want that, right?
Well, sometimes you do want really small freezes because every little bit counts. And I couldn't do a big freeze there without killing the fairies or anything like that. So there was nothing better for me to do there than just let out a small freeze.
Oh. It looked like you messed it up.
No, I didn't. Trust me. Sometimes you do want to do really small freezes because there's nothing better to do.
Oh, okay. So. Okay.
And you don't want to detract from bomb's area.
No, right. That's why it has to be small, because you don't want to retract from the bomb, and because you don't want to kill any fairies. So you have to make sure the bullets you freeze aren't actually going to count towards the bomb in the first place. Some more milking here. You do have to always keep in mind to shoot the side of the boss, or you will kill it way too quickly.
Right.
So never shoot if you're gonna shoot at the middle, unless you really have to, I guess.
Yeah.
And suicide there because my perfect freeze count was a bit low, so I needed a bit more percent for that, because I want to use free bombs in this attack.
Okay. So depending on how well you're doing, you gotta
I did have to
readjust.
do intentional death there. Yeah, sometimes I don't have to.
Okay.
And this attack is where the suiciding really starts. You can see here. First of all, like
Did
she
you
fires
bomb
out.
then suicide?
No, I'm just freezing and suiciding.
Oh,
like
okay.
she releases this ring of bullets and fireballs, and freezing it at the top in the corner is better because, well, it's logic if you think about it. You freeze more bullets that way, because if you wait at the bottom, you're not going to freeze the bullets at the top because they'll be off screen.
Yeah.
And so you have to kill yourself repeatedly to do this, because, well, otherwise there's just no way.
The motivation does go up pretty quick. I noticed a lot of those freezes gained you like 12%.
Yeah, it's also getting a lot of motivation is also something you have to learn to optimize. But if you know how to do it, you can get a lot of lives in this game.
The suicide bullets kind of look like the point items. It's like they're coming at you.
Okay, so here, yeah, point blank, graze these fairies to get some small freezes here, and then get one big freeze at the end for them.
And why don't you want to kill the fairies again? I didn't quite fully understand.
There's no real point. They released suicide bullets, so it makes it a lot harder. If you actually kill them, you only have to shoot them a bit to get some ice power from them.
All you want is the ice power. Okay.
Because, well, you don't really gain anything from killing them, unless it's with your ice.
Fair enough.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, this boss right here is like the biggest piece of RNG stuff in the game, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah, Sunny Milk. She's always just so RNG based on like every category, but this one is probably the biggest one. First attack is not too bad. I mean, you freeze the bullets when she releases them, and then you shoot the side of her a bit so you can freeze the next batch, and you try to
The perfect
bomb
freeze.
when she's in a good position. Like you want her to be close to the middle. That's when the bomb is worth the most.
I see.
And the next attack, this is very RNG based. Freeze the bullets, go up and point blank, graze, and then go down and freeze more bullets. And she releases more and more bullets every wave. And how much score you get from this is basically you can't control it because it's so random. So
The RNG they're referring to is her position then.
no, it's not. It's more so the bullets than the position, because the bullets have to connect.
So there's RNG with the actual position of every bullet.
Yes.
Then?
So
Oh,
that's
okay.
very common for Touhou games, that there's a lot of randomness with the bullet patterns. The movement is slightly important, but not very. You can see my score is ranging from 300 to 600,000 for each freeze. I got pretty lucky on it.
I see.
Yeah, here's some more suicides. You want to freeze and then suicide to make sure the freeze doesn't damage her too much, and to get another freeze right away.
Oh yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier, right? When you die and you freeze, the freeze doesn't do damage. Or is that what you were saying earlier?
The freeze does some damage, but it's a lot less.
So it's less if you're dead while the freeze is going.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So you have to time the suicide.
Pretty odd mechanic.
Yeah, but these games are a bit quirky.
It's probably a glitch. Really.
It's probably some kind of glitch, yeah.
All right.
All right, this attack is the biggest RNG thing in this category. First of all, the position. You want her to be as low on the screen and as close to the middle as possible, or you lose a lot of score.
Okay.
And on top of that, you can see these gaps she's giving me. They're based on my position, but only vaguely so. So sometimes she's giving me an impossible situation.
And that was kind of one of them.
Yeah, that was impossible.
You died there.
Yeah. It will happen sometimes, and you just have to deal with it.
Well, at least you get some perfect freeze for dying on accident.
Yeah, and I mean, I have a few leftover lives that I can't afford to lose at this point.
Now,
So not too bad.
Oh, great. Go on. Ask me.
Oh no, I'm done.
You have to keep in mind that these fireballs, these are not like cave hitbox fireballs. The entire white portion of these balls is a hitbox, so you can't like go through them.
Right.
What were you about to say, Sil?
Was that bomb planned there? It looked.
Yeah, I can't afford to use one bomb during that spell card, especially if I died before it.
Okay.
So because it gave me like an impossible situation, I froze and then bombed.
All right. Ideally, you would save the bomb. Huh?
No, you do want to use one bomb on it.
Okay.
Under any circumstance.
All right.
Because otherwise, I think you'll end up with 300%. And yeah, here's another attack where you, it is a spell card, but you don't give a shit. The bombs are worth more than capturing the card, so you freeze a bunch of bullets and use free bombs.
Because as we were saying earlier, that's the gold medals really aren't worth it. So that was kind of that circumstance then.
Yeah, no, the medals are not worth it.
The medals.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Like one bomb is worth more than actually capturing the card. So.
Okay. All right.
And Girl 98, I believe it is actually the freeze that does damage. It seems that way when I watch replays, but I'm not 100% sure. Because the freeze goes up just slightly after you die. Yeah, so final stage, really long stage because of all the milking, but yeah.
But that's the fun part, right?
Yes, I think this is the most fun game to do milking in, personally. Milker's Paradise. Because there's a lot of technique, there's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of randomness, there's a lot, it's just, it never gets old for me.
A good milk is the one that gets you a lot of points. So that's the whole game.
So
right.
another mid-boss coming up here, Star Sapphire. She's a real gold mine for score. And this is where my first major mistake occurs in this run.
Okay.
I'll point it out when it happens, but... Well, basically here, she fires out these rings, and you want to point blank them for instant 100 ice power. Then you go through 2 rings, freeze, and bomb at the same time, and you rinse and repeat. Except for certain times when you want to suicide right after you freeze instead. Or even just freeze and dodge a wave. It's a bit hard to realize what you should do under any...
Yeah, so I saw you freeze and then bomb, okay.
Yeah, and there I suicided after I froze. The thing is that the random movement here can really screw you over, making it very hard to realize what you need to do. And right here I made a mistake. You see, I froze in the corner, and I figured, this ice is not going to extend far enough to reach her, but it did extend far enough, and then my bomb finished her off, so I lost one entire wave of score there.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, so you're always worrying about how much damage you're doing.
Yes, damage, dealing the correct amount of damage is extremely important in this game. So here's a very fun technique. You point. You can see these lasers here. They break the ice. You go point blank Star Sapphire. Very important that you point blank her correctly so that you get 100 ice power, or this will not work. And then the lasers will release random bullets that you have to quickly deal with before you point blank her again. This is very difficult. It's really a do or die moment of the run. If you mess this up, you're going to lose a lot of score.
Wow. That looks like a fun one.
Yeah, it is really fun, but it's very hard. So I'm always happy when I get it right.
So you charge up to 100% ice power like immediately when you point blank shoot?
Yeah, because you graze every bullet she releases there at the same time. If you have less than 100, it won't work correctly. And yeah, you can't like shoot her because then you can't milk it properly. And it's very easy to die to the random bullets that the lasers release.
Okay.
That's usually how you're gonna mess it up. You're gonna die to one of those bullets. Right here, these big fires popping up. You can spawn less or more of them depending on your course of action here. I've learned a very specific method to get 4 freezes while spawning 3 big fairies here. If you don't, it's very easy to mess up. Like, you can't tell if you're gonna mess it up or not. You just have to learn. Like, it's almost frame perfect.
To manipulate the spawns.
Yes.
Okay.
I mix it up very often because you have to cut it really close to get the most out of that, the most out of those fairies.
Oh,
And
that's crazy.
You're gonna cut it so close that sometimes one of the fairies won't spawn.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't realize it was like spawn manipulation.
Yeah, I mean you won't be able to see it by just watching a run.
Yeah.
Explaining it.
But
So right now the run is still looking really good, but there's one more major mistake I'm gonna do, unfortunately.
okay.
Yeah, so here the final boss is all 3 main fairies at the same time, and there's some tricks you can do based on that. Like you can shoot 2 fairies at the same time to increase your ice power twice as fast. Sometimes you want to do that, and not here though, because you don't want to damage Star Sapphire, the fairy in the middle. If you don't damage her, you can freeze more bullets in the long run. So this is pretty hard because, well, the movements are random and you have to freeze the rings in a specific way. And you have to get the frozen items from the side fairies. So it's really important. I'm trying to do that right here, but my ice power isn't quite high enough to get all the rings there, so she's still firing a lot of bullets. So I can't move up in point blank, so I die. But
So
I think
so you had a plan there, but it's just
I had a plan,
you
but
were
I
too
failed
late.
to do it. I failed to do it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The death was
Gotcha.
still better than it would have been to just sit at the bottom and shoot, because then
Right.
I'd not be able to milk this out as well.
All right. So all
So
or nothing type of
It's-
thing. There.
Yeah, right. And I have like 2 lives. I had like 2 lives to spare, so I could afford to die there without losing the run completely.
Karua says, "Please don't do the mistake, Chum. Did you do that already?"
Yeah. So here's the spell card you actually want to capture, because, well, there's no reason to bomb this or anything.
Capture. Oh, you're capturing this one, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's very easy spell card. It's just like streaming or bullet hurting back and forth. If you know how this works, it's kind of hard to fail. Although
I like this
I have failed it before.
Hmm.
You can also see like the spell card bonus, it counts down. You can see it at the top there. It's on 320 for me right now. It always counts down, so sometimes capturing spells can be it's better if it's done quickly. That is one instance where capturing it faster is slightly better.
Because the freezes just weren't.
Yeah,
adding
if
up.
the freezes aren't that great, so capturing it faster ends up being a bit better, but it's not really a big deal. Here's where you want to shoot 2 fires at the same time to get your ice power up faster, so you can
Nice.
get big freezes on every wave. And you can also do some bombing here.
Bomb it out.
Bomb it out, yeah. And then when Star Sapphire is alone, you can freeze her wave, go up and point blank the ring she's about to fire, or instant grace. Bit easy to mess up, but well, you gotta do what you gotta do. Here's a quick kill. You want to finish this as fast as you can for a bigger score.
What? So this might have been addressed, but what's the biggest red ring around the fairies to signify?
That is the health bar.
No. The outer
Oh,
faded one.
I think that's just like for decoration.
Oh, they're called spell
they're-
circle, but
Yeah.
the only game they make
Just-
any significance is the shoot a bullet game.
Yeah, that's true. It's an aesthetic choice.
Okay. That. All right.
It doesn't actually have any gameplay significance, as far as I know. Not in this game, only in the photo.
And how lenient is the grazing?
It is pretty lenient. Like
Because I've noticed you do the point blank grazing, but I'm not seeing the grazing that well. Like
Yeah,
is it just
it's
because the
pretty
bullets are
lenient,
kind of far
like-
away?
you can be like an entire sprite. The bullet can be like an entire.
Oh, okay, I got you. That's good to know. It's good to know.
Yeah.
Because I was seeing you get those instant ones. I'm like, wait, you're not right next to bullets. You're kind
Yeah,
of
you just
away
have to learn.
from them.
Also, there's one thing I haven't mentioned yet that might be good to know. These bosses do have hitboxes. That should go without saying. But regular enemies in this game actually do not have hitboxes, so you can pass right through them.
Okay.
So it's really easy to with these fires. If you want to point blank graze them, you do have to mind the hitboxes. But with regular enemies, you can just go right through them, no problem.
He's kind of doing the like the gymnast swirls, you know, like they have those like the flags that they fucking wave around.
That spell card is like a breather in the run because it's pretty easy. You just brace and freeze. This is a bit more difficult because there's a lot of damage. Well, you don't want to deal. You want to deal just the right damage here. There are two different ways to do this attack. Like you can go on point blank race if you want to, but I don't even find that it's better because I seem to do more damage with my freeze when I do that. So I prefer doing it like this, like hitting the side of her.
I see.
Do little damage and getting just enough power.
Tons of optimization in this game.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
This attack also has like there's different ways you can do it. I go for safe, quick kill. Because I did the math on this attack, and like the difficult strat for this attack is it's only worth a very tiny bit more, so I don't even think it's worth doing at my level because it's so hard to do. And that is basically milking it and trying to get frozen items. And yeah, final attack is also you sit in the middle, freezing these bullets over and over, and you do have to time your freezes correctly at the end because they do like this audio musical cue, and that's when they turn all these bullets into fireballs, that random super fast fireballs that fly all over the screen, and you can't really dodge those because the more you damage these parries, then the more intense the pattern gets, kind of like Rising Yagawa type thing. So you just have to learn to time your freezes very exactly there. And once you've done enough damage, then you start bombing. Because as you can see, you're freezing so much of the screen. So it's important you have 3 bombs for this, you have all your bombs for this.
Yeah, nice timing.
Yeah, and the last bomb should finish off the side fairies so that you get the frozen items from both side fairies.
Oh, almost 100%. Oh, full milk.
Yeah,
it's like whole milk, and all the other ones are 2% and 1%.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just love making that joke.
The suicide bullets that they release, if you freeze those when Star has taken enough damage, you can kill Star with ice as well. To make sure you get the frozen items from her. Because one thing I may not have mentioned is that you can't kill enemies with your ice if there's no bullets that you froze. Like you have to freeze bullets on top of an enemy to kill them with ice. You can't just freeze them without freezing any bullets. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, very nice replay though. That was very cool to watch.
Two big mistakes that cost it like world record.
But still, you're getting there to like perfect play.
Very, very solid, yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Oh man, that was cool. All right, I guess we're gonna get to the extra mode replay now.
Yeah, the extra stage in this game is very, very long because there's a lot of milking. So it's almost as long as the main game. But
it's
it's my favorite extra stage in the series. It's
really.
It's really fast paced, very difficult compared to the others. Very, fast bullets. Just the awesome patterns, it's just a classic.
Yeah, the extra stages in Touhou games tend to be like jacked up, don't they?
They actually tend to be easier than the Lunatic modes by a significant amount.
Oh.
But more memorization based than the normal game.
Oh, okay.
But the extra stage in Fairy Wars is not like that at all. It's very hard. I would say it's almost as hard as the Lunatic game. And they're not as memorization based. It's more random.
So that's like the opposite then of the usual.
Yeah, I guess that's why I like it so much more.
Right. Interesting. Anything else about to preface this? So we'll get right into it, I suppose.
It's the world record replay. It's
by Mizoru.
Mizoru, yeah. Tons of work went into this. He's been playing this so much, and it's a very lucky, just like the main game. It's luck based, so you need some patience because you need good luck, or you're not gonna get a world record. I'm not an expert on extra, but I played it a fair amount. I know Sil played it too.
Okay.
I have a decent score. I have a decent understanding, but I think some strategies might fly over my head because the game is kind of complicated.
Cool. Yeah, Zill, I like Like, yeah, you could probably chime in a bit more now that Chum's replay is over.
But
People, yeah, they probably want to hear you. So, all right, let's do this. 3, 2, 1, go.
all right.
So yeah, in this stage, you know, you cut right to the chase. It's lots of bullets right away, and instead, you know, it's a world record run, so you have to think about how many bullets you freeze, how many frozen items you're getting, and stuff like that, rather than just surviving. So he's doing all these crazy strategies to get big freezes.
To do what? Sorry, I didn't follow that.
To get big freezes.
Okay.
So like he's doing a lot of stuff that you would not want to do as a beginner because it's very hard.
All right, yeah. But to quickly touch on like the beginner aspect, do you think? Well, I know Lunatic, you know, tends to be like, you know, the harder difficulty of Touhou's, but it seems like you could probably just jump right into Lunatic and Touhou. Maybe if you had some
like
shooting game experience.
If you have shooting game experience, you can jump right into Lunatic.
Jump right into it. I like that advice for people.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You should. I encourage people to do it if they're good at these games, because otherwise they might seem kind of boring.
Yeah. And I did ask you before we did the show, you know, why Lunatic? You know, is it the most fun mode? And you said it was. So
For me, it is. In this game, the different difficulties are very different in how you approach them. So I respect the lower difficulties because, well, first of all, there's less bullets to freeze. That means there's less bullets to graze, and it's harder to optimize your bomb count. And a lot of things are harder. There's no suicide bullets, so you can't get easy graze that way. And it's just a completely different game.
I see.
But I just enjoy Lunatic more because, you know, it's flashier. There's more stuff to dodge. It's just cool.
The flashier aspect is good.
Yeah, you know, there's just more bullet. It feels like bullet hell.
Yeah.
At the lower difficulties, it's like more like an optimization game.
I see. All right, so onto this replay here.
Here's the mid bosses. You basically just like time your freezes and your bombs and your suicides here. It's pretty straightforward actually. This attack. It's dealing the correct amount of damage to make sure you don't finish them off too fast. This always plays a big role in this game, no matter what category you're doing, and this is no exception. You can see the health bars right now are really low. If you're not doing it right, they'll be dead by then and you won't get the last freeze.
Is there some times when you'll like delay your freeze at a certain moment just so that the freeze doesn't go over a boss?
Yes.
Damage it?
Yes.
Sometimes I feel like that would probably be a thing that you'd run into.
Yes, you do run into that very in some categories.
Go ahead, Zil.
Oh yeah, I mean he's intentionally not freezing the bosses on this very pattern.
Oh, okay, yeah.
See, he's keeping them at the bottom of the screen in order to just, you know, keep freezing.
Yeah, right here he is.
But he could get larger freezes, but this ends up being worth more. Okay.
Yeah. Also, the boss movement here is random, so if you get bad luck here, it's really annoying to get freezes in that.
Yeah.
I messed that up, in fact.
This attack is also rather simple. You can see the bosses, they move back and forth like that, so sometimes they're off screen. That's when you want the freeze to go off because then it doesn't damage them, so you can just keep doing it. And these like kind of big bullets, they're kind of vaguely aimed, so you can use them to graze.
And this attack is very important to get over 30% area.
Yeah, because you need perfect freeze. You run into a lot of instances like that in the game where you have to cut it really close to get the 30%. If you get under 30%, you only get like at most 8% perfect freeze. And
30% is 20, right? Or
yeah, that's 20.
Yeah.
So it's very important.
20%.
Sometimes you have to like just do really good freezes or get really lucky to get exceed 30%.
That's probably a big distinguishing factor.
Yeah, that can be very frustrating, especially on the lower difficulties.
Because if you can't get the 30% consistently, like you're not playing it.
And then you're gonna get less bombs.
You might be getting in over your head at the beginning, or something.
Yeah. So here he's doing a difficult strat for this part. These bullets are vaguely aimed. and he's trying to do this in such a way that he freezes as much as he can. This could be done much easier if you're just trying to survive it, but you know. It's basically a random cluster that's aimed, vaguely aimed at your hitbox, but not directly aimed.
No, he has a pretty cool strat for this part, if I recall.
Yeah, like the ending of this section, the high-level scoring strats for that are pretty cool.
Yeah, watch this.
Yeah, just right there. Yeah, that's very hard to do. You have to keep in mind, like while you're freezing, you can't graze. It doesn't count towards your ice power, so he has to graze once the freeze is gone off. So doing what he just did there is I've never managed to do it. It's so goddamn difficult. And yeah, right here, he's trying to make the screen flooded so that he freezes more bullets.
Oh, cool. Yeah, hurting the bullets there.
He died there on accident, but he can afford to die there because if you look at his perfect freeze count right now, he just got to 300 and the boss is appearing right now. So I don't think that ended up being a very important thing.
Okay.
It means he can die once less later on in the game, which might end up mattering. I'm not sure, but he didn't reset, so obviously it doesn't matter to him.
Sure. Nice.
Yeah, this pattern, it gets faster and more intense the longer you let it go, and all these bullets are random. So.
And once you activate the bomb, you're invincible, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but now he's out of bombs and he has to milk it, which is... It might look simple, but it's actually very easy to fail this because it's very, very tight timing. And the boss movement is random, so you have to immediately react to where she's going to make sure you hit the side of her, not the middle, because then you'll kill her. And it's very easy to just freeze just not enough so that you'll get killed by the last few bullets here or something.
Beep, beep. I've always liked the sound of the last seconds ticking down in the Touhou games.
Yeah, it's
For some
a
reason.
nice... I like that. Like, I don't like when you don't know when the boss will time out personally in a game if you need to milk the boss. I think that's... it can be really annoying because then you have to learn like music cues or stuff like that. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's such a nice luxury to be able to hear timing.
It's like, come on. It's like, just tell us, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Why not? Why not just tell
So
us?
Zune knows. He knows the frustrations.
Yes.
Oh, those purple beams, those are damageable? Or those hurt
yeah.
you, or...
These lasers are Marisa specific, I believe. The way those work is that they drain your motivation, but they don't directly kill you. So touching one is bad because you want as much motivation as possible so that you can fit more suicides into your run, and because you do need to finish with max lives. But touching it isn't fatal.
They also reduce the spell card bonus, but that's...
Oh, I like that. This card is kind of interesting because that orb she shoots, you can shoot it for ice power. So you can shoot it to increase your ice power for this. And yeah, it's just another milking-based attack, just like everything else in this stage. You just have to learn how to misdirect it properly and when to time your freezes.
Yeah.
And this one is a pretty easy milk.
Well, I'd say it's pretty hard to get over 30% on this one.
It's a bit random, I guess that's why, because movement there can, like, if she doesn't move right, it's kind of hard to know what to do.
Yeah, see, he keeps getting like 28.
Yeah, 29, 23 there.
He's
Like, the
like,
game's
ah.
trolling him. This is one of those parts of the game, you know? It can be very frustrating because sometimes, you know, your route really depends on getting the right amount of bombs, and sometimes you're not gonna lose a bomb because of stuff like this. So this one is kind of like the first attack she used, except there's fireballs mixed in this time, making it much harder to milk because you know the speed increases and it gets so fast and it's so random.
How much like well as a player, I guess the person who doesn't play the Touhou games a lot, not very much. Like, is there a lot of twitch dodging in this? I guess Lunatic or extra modes. Where
Yeah, I'd say this extra mode has the most.
there's
Which
more,
are
yeah.
all the extra modes. Normally, there's not a lot of it.
But in
This-
Lunatic, it's more like you're kind of aware of what's happening.
Lunatic has a lot of twitch dodging too, but it's lessened. I guess you could say it's lessened by scoring because some patterns you just bomb.
Yeah, you're right.
Although some,
Right.
some patterns you just milk, which requires you to do a lot of twitching. But sometimes the milking just entails point blanking. So I don't know. It's a mixture.
Yeah. Okay.
Patterns tend to be, randomly oriented. They tend to have randomly oriented bullets, but sometimes you don't even have to deal with them. That's basically my point.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the time you're okay if you're getting good freezes off.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I mean,
like
on this one,
essentially
if you know
playing
how to use the freezes correctly, you're kind of okay. But yeah, see, there's a lot of fireballs and they're random, so you have to watch out.
Yeah. Those,
Although sometimes you can just bomb them, but you don't want to bomb everything.
mm,
And you can see he's sitting in the corner here, shooting these orbs for ice power sometimes. When he knows it's okay to do that.
this is a pretty busy spell.
Yeah, it's one of the easier ones for scoring. You see these non-spell cards she's using are a lot harder in this extra stage than in other Touhou extra stage.
You just build that. You theoretically could have milked it.
Yeah, I could, but I mean it speeds up and it gets so hard and you barely get anything. So here every other way he uses ice to shield himself from that laser, and every other way he freezes all these stars, while making sure he only hits. That's all.
Wow, that's a really cool little technique there.
Yeah, this one is can be quite tricky because you see these stars are really fast, and yeah, as usual they are randomly oriented.
That's really awesome.
And you have to react to them while also making sure you hit the side of Marisa. If you hit the middle of her, you'll finish this off prematurely. And if you don't hit her at all, you won't get enough ice power. So this one can be quite tricky.
It's cool because it seems like a lot of the time in this mode and then Lunatic, you're always kind of coming down to the last seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Star
milking.
Star hitboxes are also pretty fair. It's the white interiors.
some-
So this is an interesting attack because you dump a lot of resources on this.
Well, that's a lot of bullets.
Yeah.
86.
And like you can see, he's timing suicides and bombs so that he'll get his ice power back, so that he can freeze sometimes. And you can see that after he suicided, he froze immediately, and then he used the post-death invulnerability to graze while he was freezing, so that he could get 2 freezes after suiciding.
Man, pretty
Really
slick.
awesome thing. Yeah.
That's some
Because
slick stuff.
in this game, you get like a few seconds of post-death invulnerability that you can use to graze. Right there, it looks like he failed to do it the second time. I don't think that left his intentional, I'm not sure. And yeah, what Sengeku said about the Lunatic rings true. It's just one of those games that some people just click with, and some people find it very hard. Because in this game and in Lunatic in general, the difficulty is pretty high right from stage 1. This is my favorite milk in this stage. You can see these orbs are all hitbox, by the way, these big ones. They're kind of like randomly circling, and you have to avoid them while also hitting the side of Marisa and timing your freezes correctly. And it's very, very easy to miss the last freeze of this because you over-damaged Marisa. That always happens to me. It's very easy to die on this, which means you miss a freeze and lose a life. Just a lot of easy ways to fuck yourself. It's kind of like the last attack in Guan with the rotating.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of similar, but a bit
shit.
not quite as brutal as that one.
Guange. I love me some Guange. I wanna play it like right now. just hearing about that. Anyway.
It's a really good game.
I fucking love that game.
So right now he's getting kind of low on motivation. So because he's a world record runner, so he has to spend every life that he can. But that's very
Got
risky.
to use his life the way he can.
Yeah, but it's very risky because on the last couple of attacks, like the last 3 ones, you have to do some really dangerous stuff, and you have to do it on your last life. It's not strictly your last life, but if you lose a life from that point, you won't clear with max resources, which means it is effectively your last life if you're scoring, because the clear bonus is so big, and you lose so many points if you don't have max lives. So this is like a do or die moment of the run, because he has to use this attack to milk enough motivation and perfect freeze. He has to milk this attack very well. So you can see like these orbs, they block the lasers, so he takes advantage of that, while he shoots the orbs to increase his ice power.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he shoots Marisa, well then she'll die. And this is I personally find this very hard to do well. I've compared how much motivation and perfect freeze I gain when I milk this. I gain a lot less.
I see.
Yeah. It's like if you touch a laser, you lose motivation. You have to make sure the freezes are good and that you freeze all the time.
Looks tricky.
Yeah, it's pretty tricky. I mean,
Right.
it's pretty easy to just survive, but it's tricky. You have to use this to move resources, and that's tricky. Yeah, so this attack is like the other last non-spell shoes, except this time the fireballs and like other normal bullets are reversed. But he doesn't need to dodge this. He's just bombing because you get a lot of score.
Motivation's pretty high.
Yeah, he does need to get it to 1,000.
Before it ends.
Yeah, I believe right now he can't lose any more lives.
I see. So once you get to the end of the game, it's like you better not mess up, right?
Yeah, if you mess up, the run's over.
It's just I like that. I like that though.
Yeah, I like that too. It's the same on the other modes. On Lunatic, if you die at the end, bam, 4 million lost. And
it puts the pressure on, right?
Yeah. And on this in this route extra stage, it's 5 million per 100 motivation at the end, and you can see his score right now is 43.
Oh,
so
wow.
that's big.
It's huge. Yeah, you definitely need that.
It's really, really important.
Yeah.
And this is a very tough move he's doing, and he can't afford to die on it even once. This is really, really tough. The circles, it's so easy to just let the circles overwhelm you there and not get enough ice power to freeze them, keep them at bay. And it's very easy to get killed by one of these really fast orbs flying down. It's also very easy to touch you see these orbs, they have like trailing lasers behind them. If you touch those, you lose motivation. And it's also very easy to kill Marisa early. So everything about this is hard. I personally do not do this strat because I find it way too difficult. And then you get the token survival spell card. It's when you do not deplete health from the boss, instead you just survive the timer. Every extra stage has one of these, at least one of these. Right now it's pretty easy, but usually with the way these works is that the difficulty gradually jumps up. So near the end it gets pretty tough.
So he's actually trying to hit Marisa with his ice, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so that he can freeze more bullets. Or also for the tiny motivation increase that you get from it. It's not very significant, but it might end up mattering. So you can see she's releasing these random stars now that it's very easy to accidentally get hit by one of these because they stay on the screen. They're kind of hard to keep track of, and you have to make sure you don't get hit by Mars at the same time. I've lost runs on that attack, man. It's it's not easy. All right, so this is the final card, and yeah, on this one. You wanna nuke it, obviously, like everything else. And the way you do that is by, well, not really shooting them in the middle. That's when you move up and you freeze these stars. So, if you freeze higher up, they can expand more and you get more points. And try to shoot when you're near the sides to increase your ice power. And the difficulty gradually increases on this one too, which means you can get bigger freezes later. And there's also like a timeout, kind of like a timeout phase trick you can do on this, which is he's gonna do. He has to get 1,000 motivation and 300 perfect freeze before the timeout phase. Or, well, he has to get 300 perfect freeze before the timeout phase. So he has to, it's important that he moves up through all the bullets and releases a big freeze near the top. There we go. There we go. One more freeze should do it. Now he's safe. Of course, he's world record player, so he's gonna keep doing it as long as he can. The reason he needs all the bombs is, of course, that when the timeout phase starts, right now the timeout phase is starting, there's fireballs everywhere, and if you bomb, bam, 888,000 points.
Yo, points!
Oh, more points. And one last one. And there we go.
Nice.
Yeah. You can't, it's kind of tough to dodge that timeout phase. Like
Clear
you can,
bonus 53.
yeah, you can get a similar
Oh,
phase
he hit 100, barely.
You get a similar phase near the end by just depleting Marisa's health, but if you don't damage her enough, the timeout phase starts, and there's even more fireballs than there normally would have been, and it gets kind of almost undodgeable. So it's important that you have bombs, so that you freeze everything.
Man, crazy. Well, that was really cool. I think the replay is looping. Soda actually went to go eat dinner, so he asked me to control the stream via an OBS remote thing, but I'm not figuring it out at the moment. So it'll probably just ride out the end of this episode, and we'll remain live until he gets back unless I figure it out. But in any case, yeah, this game pretty awesome. I really enjoyed the emphasis on the resource management.
Yeah,
Seemed like that was a big thing about the game.
I think this game would probably appeal to people that like Takumi games and racing games, because there's a bit of a combination there. Although it's a Touhou game at heart, of course.
It seemed like with the idea, like the concepts of the resource management in mind, like you could just start playing this game and you'd instantly kind of get a feel for how the game flow goes as you manage your resources. Because I like these resource management games because it's like when you're learning, there's really kind of not really a truly wrong way to do it. Like you're you're just experimenting with it.
Because if you're just playing, you might bomb a difficult spell card because it's so hard and you're getting overwhelmed. And then you see the score you're getting from it, and you realize, well, maybe bombing that isn't such a bad idea. Maybe I'll do it more often, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I really love the type of resource management games because you really can just experiment and get an idea, kind of what works and what doesn't, and you're not really punished for experimenting.
No, you have to experiment in this game because there's so much stuff to learn in this game. Like there's so many different ways to approach a lot of different attacks in this game in how you wanna get big freezes. Do you want to bomb this, or do you want to save the bomb for another attack? Do you want to, if you watch a lot of the score runs of this game, you're going to see completely different approaches. So that's one thing I like about it, is that you can kind of play your own way. come up with your own strategies. Sometimes you might even figure out a strategy that's better than what the world record does.
Right.
I've done that plenty of times. I've adopted plenty of strategies that I personally have faith in. My own strategies, so to speak. So that's really cool.
Yeah, Lamo says casually playing, you'll probably want to milk stuff to get more lives.
Well, it's an option. You don't have to. It could actually end up costing you lives doing that because milking is hard. It's an option.
Yeah, you get options, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Shout outs to Mizoru for that world record replay. He just barely hit 100 million. That was fucking epic.
Yeah.
Fucking epic.
Only person to have broken 100 million in this game.
Just the feeling that he must have had when he got the 100. Ooh.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. You can only imagine until like you spend like those many hours trying to pull that shit off.
Yeah. Also, what Kawaii Girl 98 says rings true. Milking almost doubles the playtime.
Right. Yeah.
So it's actually a really short game. It's just that the milking, it doubles the the run.
Yeah. It tends to be the case in the milking games.
Yeah. So I mean, if you don't want to milk, you get a really short, fast-paced game with fun to dodge patterns and freezing mechanic at the same time. And if you do like the milking, then you have a lot of it becomes very complex. So depending on what player you are, you could enjoy both. I like both. I do no bomb runs sometimes where I just try to survive and finish without bombing and dying. And that's fun too, but
Okay, awesome. Well, I don't know. It kind of wraps it up. I guess if either of you kind of wanted to to say why to play the game, why you think it's fun, that'd be kind of a nice thing to leave off on.
Yeah, play this game because it's the best game. That's it.
Yeah, this is like your game, right?
Yeah, it's my game.
One is fun you probably played the most. That's cool.
Yeah,
So
one of them at least. It is kind of short, and I didn't get truly into this game until like last year. That's when I started playing it a lot. So I don't know if it's the one I played the most, but
cool. Zill, anything like that you gotta say?
Well, I'd say it's certainly has it's a lot faster than your average Touhou game. Which for me is why I like it so much. Just the bullets themselves and the pace of the game. I mean, even with the milking, the game tends to flow a lot more quickly than your average game.
Cool, that's a good point.
In particular,
it is a fast-paced game. It's true.
Yeah, you don't do a lot of like grazing and stuff. It's certainly a lot less memorization heavy than your average game. You go into this. You can't just like watch a replay and then just like know exactly what you need to do. You really have to go into it and like experience, get the feel for it, and you learn how to adapt to the various random factors. So, it's pretty unique amongst all.
It's certainly a unique game. So, if anything, you should at least try it out because it's a very different game. You can compare it to so many other games, but it's its own beast. It's a unique game. Really.
Okay, awesome. Well, yeah, I think that'll do it for the episode. Yeah, thanks, Chum and Zill, for coming on. Really glad to have you. And it's really about it. The stream's gonna remain live until I figure out how to use this thing. So I guess I don't know. We can hang out a little bit.
Yeah, have some small talk.
But that'll do it for episode 52 of Shooting Game Weekly. Next weekend, actually, we're gonna be trying to do Gunsmoke, and Chum, you're actually gonna be hopefully coming back for that.
Yeah, maybe.
I would like you to.
Do some picking up on it. I love Gunsmoke. I think it's an amazing game.
So just the command, just going right off a commando. We're gonna get some gun smoke because that game is fucking insane. It really is.
Yeah, classic Capcom.
That's just. I think it's like ahead of its time. It's so intense. It's fast paced.
It's so intense for such an old shooting game. Like
It's
I've never
seriously
played
awesome.
a game from that era that is as intense as Gunsmoke.
So I think that's gonna happen next week. Also, Mars Matrix episode is in the planning stages. So Mars Matrix is gonna happen. Everyone and their mother requested it.
I'm sure Socksack is
What?
Socksack is doing it, right?
Oh, he's yeah. Well,
I'm just
No.
joking. I know he'd be fine.
he's retired that personality. I'm pretty sure. But yeah. So everyone, thanks for watching and stuff. I suppose after this point, oh, Soda's back! Yay!
Yay!
All right, Soda.
Perfect timing.
Soda, just in time. We can wrap it up without. Okay, go to the title card so this doesn't.
I'll be there.
All right, good. All right, cool. Well, we're pretty much done wrapping it up here. So, yeah, definitely play this Touhou game. We actually also have some other Touhou episodes coming probably next month, at least one of them. And among those, I think, well, there's a bunch of them, but
It's a Mountain of Faith, right?
yeah, I think I would like to do Mountain of Faith next month, and then I know you and Zill both are like on the Phantasmagoria Touhou game, so I'll probably have you the following month or something. But I don't want to do too many Touhou games at once, just like I don't want to do like too many cave games all in a row either. So, but hopefully the Touhou populace is satisfied and whatever. So cool. All right, yeah, we're done here. So Soda.